Well, hello there. Welcome to the Obi-Thorn Alliance. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Luke.
And in today's video, we are doing episode 4 of Hawkeye. If you can, like and subscribe. It helps out the channel quite a lot. Hit the notification bell. Share the video. I guess we'll start off with what happened in the episode. What was your favourite part of with what happened with it, Luke?
Well, I'm glad we finally got a bit more clarity about what we thought the episode was, the series was going to be about. We saw that at the end of the Black Widow movie, we saw Natasha's sister basically preparing that she was going to come take on Hawkeye, and that's what we thought the show was going to be about. And we hadn't seen that in the first 3 episodes, and we finally got to see that. So that was, for me, the thing that I liked most about the episode, that we've started to see what's going on. We still don't ultimately know if Kingpin is going to be the main villain yet, but it seems like it's going to be an obvious choice.
Yeah.
But we got to find out some more things. Do you want to give kind of a summary of what else happens in this episode without going play by play? What else do we discover? What happens?
Basically, it follows from how episode 3 ended with the mother's fiance with the sword and them kind of being suspicious about him and kind of discussing about what Enterprise and what he's kind of up to, and she wants to take him down, and Hawkeye kind of wants to not involve her as much. She sees him as like a friend, and he kind of sees her as a burden.
Yeah, we were left on that cliffhanger last week of the sword to the throat, and you thought that was going to be a big reveal, but it was kind of in the first 1 second of the episode, it kind of escalated to nothing. He was just holding there because, like, are you a burglar? He wasn't trying to hurt Hawkeye himself. He just thought it was an intruder. What else? We got to see a bit of a nice side to her mother and being all loved up with this fiance, but you still a bit suspicious on him?
Yeah.
Do you think he could be Kingpin, or he's not the right age?
No.
He's some way involved, which is hinted because Clint did some research and found out that he somehow launders money for the tracksuit gang.
Yeah.
Moving from that, we find out that bit of a backstory, and then we start to move into the kind of the sobby, like, oh, it's Christmas and Clint's not going to see his family. Yeah. So what comes of that?
Basically, Kate has decided we're going to watch a movie marathon, and he starts having a teachable moment with like flicking a coin.
Yeah. So they have their kind of Christmas special time together and start to build this friendship, which is, as you said, it's kind of hit and miss, that she's growing on him, but he seems to be wanting to be distant, but she thinks that he's her mentor, which he then kind of fulfills that in this episode. And they come up with this plan of how they're going, what their next move is. I thought it was a bit confusing. I didn't really know why they were doing it, but they decided that she had to go somehow, for some reason, involve the people that play the live action, like, sword games.
Yeah.
And then he went to retrieve the watch, or find out. He went to find out intel from the tracksuit gang leader. But I don't really know what that added to the show. Do you know what I couldn't make out what the need for the people from the live action sword game, like, why were they needed?
I think because one of them was a police officer, so it was Clint, because the Rorex was in police custody, so basically they could get that information.
Okay. Because, they want to involve them into it, and I guess it's to tie in the fact that one of them's a suit maker and she's going to make new suits for them, those two.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it's planting the seed for. Because Kate keeps implying that Hawkeye has a public... Like, I know, he just doesn't appear well, and it's because he needs a new suit, basically. So they're hinting at that. So he goes and finds some intel, speaks to this tracksuit guy, takes all his weapons, but really doesn't lead to anything. Again, he's like saying, "Oh, you're chasing a ghost. Ronan's dead," which it's surely they put the two together and realize he's Ronan at this point. And then we move to the final kind of fight scene, going and getting the Rolex. So talk us through what we find out and what happens in that.
Basically, Clint is like, "Oh, I have a plan. You're going to be the lookout, and he's going to be the stealthy one." And Kate's basically, "No, we're going to do things my way." And she basically saw the opportunity of helping this old man, and then she looked pretty crazy. It's like, he's like, "Oh, who are you talking to?" And she's like, "Oh, myself."
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, actually, I'm talking to an Avenger."
Yeah.
And she comes across a bit strange to this guy. Anyway, she sneaks into the apartment and we find out that it belongs to Echo.
Yeah.
So then, of course, Echo shows up. They have a bit of a fight. And then Clint claims he's also fighting Echo on the roof, which for a second there I thought, oh, like, how's that work? Is there like two Echoes or something? And then, so we're wrong about that. And then, what do we actually find out? Who was Clint fighting?
Well, we actually see the person with the mask, and then it was a pretty cool action scene, and then we see it revealed that it was Black Widow's sister, so now we know she's involved with the show. Yeah,
so we finally got to see that. They're a bit of a fight, and then eventually everyone gets away. Where did the Rolex go? Who has the Rolex now?
I think Kate.
Yeah, I didn't really notice where or who has it currently. But we discovered that Echo, I think she knows now that Ronan is actually Clint, because she had a list of Clint's family members, so she's doing some research into him and maybe going to threaten their life. But you're saying Echo's getting a show. Is Echo a villain or a good person then? I don't know what we're meant to make of this.
I don't know what the show is going to be about.
So that's pretty much what happens in a nutshell in this episode. Anything that stood out to you that you either really liked or really hated?
Did you like the moment when Kate finally put two and two together, and then she realised that Clint was actually Ronan, and she wasn't frustrated or angry at all? It's like, "Oh, you're Ronan," and then he was more frustrated than she was. It's like, "Oh, you were killing bad people." And what was your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was brushed off, and I don't understand why he's so ashamed of it. Like, yes, he killed people, but they were bad people. Like, that's his job, but he seems to be so ashamed about that part of his life. So yeah, I can see why that's what I expected her reaction to be, really. But he predicted so much worse. But yeah, I think it was fine. It was enjoyable. Yeah, the reaction was what I expected. What other talking points is there in this episode? We mentioned the suit thing. I think that was kind of a big setup in this episode. Anything else for you stood out that it's worth talking about?
I guess once you kind of see who Clint was fighting against, even though she had the mask, I kind of knew it was Black Widow's sister. But the problem also is if you're someone that prefers watching the TV shows or someone that's watching the movies, you wouldn't pick up on those sort of things. You would be like, "Oh, who's that person?" So many layers to it.
Yeah, well, some people don't watch the end credits and miss things. So, yeah, you really need to watch. You don't have to watch everything, but things make a lot more sense. Like, I admit, when the first episode started, I actually didn't really know who Ronan was, or it didn't click. Even though I'd seen the movies, I think he was just a something that I didn't notice when I watched it, or just didn't pick up. So I had to ask what's significant about Ronan in this suit. So yeah, even someone that watches the movies can miss it. So it helps and pays to watch them all and watch the end credit scene. Where's this for you ranked to the other episodes?
Part of me still likes episode 3 more, but it is cool, like I said, that Black Widow's sister was revealed, but I feel like that's like the main thing that makes the episode good. But besides that, I don't know, I still prefer episode 3. Yeah,
well, I think episode 3 was my favourite, but this episode's done a lot for setting up future episodes, so it was enjoyable. It wasn't slow, it had funny moments in it. It had like heartfelt moments in it. It had a bit of action, and then we also got some new exciting additives to the series. So yeah, it was an overall great episode. And we have 2 more to go?
Yeah, 2 more.
What do you think we're in store for the remaining 2 episodes?
I guess either 2 things. Hawkeye is gonna try and track down or find out who Black Widow's sister, or why that has happened, and then they're going to have a fight, and then it's going to be revealed that you're Black Widow's sister, and they're going to come to a truce or something like that. And I guess Clint can. The frustrating thing will be that he could just say, I actually didn't kill your sister, but he might feel like he did. That guilt factor. Yeah,
I think moving forward, I think they'll have the moment where Natasha's sister will come to realise that Clint didn't do it. They'll have some kind of epic fight, though, leading up to it. Kate will ultimately get handed over the mantelpiece. They will get new suits, and I think something positive will happen with Echo. I think Echo might become a good character. But they're my predictions. The next episode, I think, might be more focused on the Black Widow. And yeah, I think that's what it needs to be for the next episode, and then maybe less on Echo.
Do you feel like Clint being too overprotective finally in this episode was a little bit dramatic? Do you feel like we needed that at the end? What was your thoughts about that confrontation that we got?
Yeah, maybe. I think maybe he's starting to feel guilty knowing that he has dragged Kate Bishop into this. Yes and no. Kate brought herself into it, but the fact that it's because of him as Ronan, it's now put her life at risk. So no, I don't know if it's necessarily overprotective, but was it necessary? Maybe not. What do you think is going to happen with the Natasha's sister, the Black Widow? You mentioned to me off camera that do I think that she was hired or not? Well, what are your thoughts?
Maybe Kingpin could have hired her, but it's very convenient that out of all the Black Widows, she's the one to get the job. I guess she would want revenge, so either way.
I reckon she's there for revenge because of what they set up at the end of Black Widow. I think he just said a Black Widow's been hired because he's not aware of who she is and her relationship to Natasha. So that's just him because he's unaware, but it will become clearer, and I think they will become allies in the end, but I think there will be some back and forth confrontation between the two, which I think is what we're probably going to get in the next episode.
Yeah,
and then maybe a reveal of maybe Kingpin, and then that might be the final episode around Kingpin and Echo. But overall, really good episode. It's probably the second best one we've had out of the 4 so far.
Yeah. Well, thank you for helping, Luke. Hope you're enjoying the series so far. See you in the next discussion and review in episode 5. Let the Force be with you. Bye-bye.